And welcome everyone to season 2 of Chair League. It's back. And with me, as always, is my co-caster New Type. How you doing, New Type?
I'm doing great. What season is it now?
Season 3. What did I say? Did I
You
say
said
something?
two, my
Oh,
friend.
damn it! Season 3.
Start the cast over.
Oh, got it. Got to start over. It's failure.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, here we go. We're entering season 3 of Chair League, and we have got a whole slew of new features available to us now to enrich our viewer experience.
yeah, there was some interesting stuff new for season 3 here. I said 3. Yes, 3. Not the least of which is the ability for the away team to select the map now. So that's no longer restricted to the Pro League or Pro Division rather. The away team, the home team, you always used to first ban, and the away team sort of was missing a little bit of advantage. Yeah.
There really wasn't any sort of like sense of agency with the away team. You were just sort of at the mercy of the home team's decisions in terms of bans and picks, and you were just sort of along for the ride. Now it's a bit different. Now you've got this change where it's at the away team's decision to pick the map. And so, once we have all of our teams in place here, we're going to find out what that map is. Another feature just implemented here in season 3 is the roar of the audience, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this works out. So, for those of you who are joining us, and we'll have a couple more announcements as we go on here. For those of you who are joining us, please tune in on the chairleague.com site. Go to the watch button at the top. Select that live match button and find us. Find us there, and you'll see something neat. You will see, sort of lining the viewing area, a number of stars with the names of our players included today. And you feel like they're making a big play, if you feel like they're making a difference, you can click on those stars and basically give them a round of applause. And this is neat. This is fun. I like this idea very much, actually, to show, at the end of the game, who you feel is implement who you feel is making the biggest impact, who you feel is making a difference on the battlefield. And there will be notifications to other members of the chat that this player, you voted for this player is the player of the moment right now. And it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing this implemented here.
Yeah, it should be exciting because one of the other things is it is sent to every single other person showing there. So you can actually, if you have the page up and other people are clicking it, you'll be able to see them clicking that star. So that's really exciting in terms of audience engagement. That's the first that we've heard of anyone doing that. So show your support for the people making the big plays. I mean, that's something that's something that is missing from a lot of the other viewing experiences, other than the infamous Twitch chat.
Oh yeah. So. Instead of raising your kappas and raising your dongers, now you'll be clicking the stars and showing us who you think is making the difference in this match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a little bit of behind the scenes here. We're waiting on the mighty Cucks here. Looks like they got 3 of the 5 checked in. So yeah, that is one other new feature, is the requirement that 4 out of 5 on each team has to be checked in, and that's to address the issue of ringers and people switching teams without updating their stuff. So and also it supports this new interface. Being checked in means that your name shows up on that particular interface. So yeah, season 3 features, yo.
And last but not least, you now have the opportunity to follow certain players, casters, and teams. So if you do like what you see here tonight, if you like if you like Suicide Squad's style, or the Mighty Cucks had some plays that you want to see in the future, you can follow the teams by clicking on their individual pages at the bottom of the viewing area on the Chair League site. So take a look, see what you like, and give those teams a follow. This is what it's all about. It's all about getting to watch more quality Heroes content, getting to watch some fun strategies, and build up the community, and have some fun. See what we see.
Yeah.
Um, speaking of these teams and what we're going to see. Let's talk about these teams. So both these teams had some history in Division One in Season Two, or pardon me, just in Season Two. So the Mighty Cucks is actually a call-up team. They began Season Two in Division Two and had a very robust season, winning 7 and losing 3. So a very strong winning season for them that promoted them into Division One here in Season 3. Suicide Squad has been a Division One mainstay since Season 2. They had a solid season, going 4-3, and they're looking to, as they say in their team description, go balls deep or feed. And you will see how they do here today. It's the first match of each of their respective divisions here, and we'll see who comes away with their first win of the season here.
Yep. All right. We got the other team here. It looks like they were in the wrong lobby there. That's okay. Yeah, I'm glad the other team captain took the initiative and then went to go get them, because this is the first game we're casting tonight, and I would love for it to not be a no-show, and it looks like it's gonna be. So, all right. Looks like we are getting ready to go here. Let's take a look here.
All right, so let's talk about sort of where the meta's gone in the last couple of weeks. What we might expect. The map, it looks, has been chosen, and let's see here. Can you co-cast my cooking show? An interesting question.
All right, so let's get this started here.
So today's map is going to be Cursed Hollow. What are you thinking with this one, Synth?
It's a great classic map. The the meta on this map has changed so little. Strong pushers, point defense for the objectives. Really, it's one of the slower maps of this.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of the possible maps.
It's got one of those map objectives where if something kind of goes wrong, not a whole lot will get done for your team. If you get a decent sized Punisher, it's going to do some damage. If you get a decent Immortal on Battlefield of Eternity and then your team all dies, it's still going to get a couple towers and fort. But there's a possibility, to get a curse and still not have a substantial amount of pressure applied if the enemy team is all up and you lost 2 or 3 people. So this one comes down a lot more to team play and boss management, I feel, than direct winning the game as a result of the map objective. What would you say?
Yeah, this map requires there's a lot of different strategies for. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of potential for counterplay, and I think that's very beneficial in terms of just the longevity of this game, and among other things. Hold on one second, I need to get the captain's links out here. So
sure.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of those maps where being able to get to a location quickly and lock that location down can be very beneficial. So fast rotations are key. Global presence is key. And this is a map where you'll see heroes like, Lost Vikings, Abathur, Sergeant Hammer, pay dividends. If you get Sergeant Hammer to a tribute ahead of time, if you can get her set up, it's almost a free cap. It's so difficult to push her off of that point. And then if you have a character like Abathur or a character like the Lost Vikings, if you can stall out those objectives, those early objectives, just prevent your enemy from getting to them quickly, you can get so much XP early, and it's so dangerous on those maps with those heroes if you have the capacity to support them and the players who can play them. And we'll see how that goes here tonight.
Okay. So the links are in. Let's go ahead and switch it over to the drafting screen here. Yeah.
Right.
So nothing is off the table. The as far as I know,
all the heroes have made it through quarantine. There's no game-breaking bugs, as far as we're aware of. So let's talk about this draft here. So Mighty Cucks are first. Strong bands, strong first picks. What are we thinking here?
Let's see here. I would say, Falstad is still good.
He's still good.
He's still good after all of the adjustments.
I saw some numbers crunched on Reddit today about, the win rate and the frequency of first draft and the first pick and the first ban. And one of the most consistent first picks was still Falstad across almost every region in the world. So he's very good. With a map of this size, having global presence is paramount. It's fantastic. It's great to have. And here we go. Both teams have indicated that they're ready, and we have opened up the draft here. So Mighty Cucks is starting with their ban. What's your money on? We've seen a mage ban, Kerrigan maybe
Zagara. Zagara is also very strong in this map, especially for the site. Greymane's still very strong in certain comps, and his poke is second to none on this particular map as well. So
we see Falstad banned. We talked about how important he was, how good he was. And, the thing with first ban is you want to get rid of somebody that the other team is going to use. And so by banning Falstad, they force Suicide Squad to ban Zagara, another terrifying global hero post 10.
Yep.
And we see Li Ming picked up by Mighty Cucks, another great poke hero that can dislodge you off that tribute when you're trying to channel it.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that has changed recently, and only for a couple of weeks because she's only been out for a couple of weeks, is Ario has seen a lot of first picks in pro games. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if they're gonna play with her at all. She is.
I'd like to see Siege Tank played here tonight. I'd like to see Ario played here tonight. I know you'd like to see Siege.
I would
especially since Falstad's been banned. You're two lost loves. We see Anubrak picked up very early. Counter pick to Li Ming. Anubrak's really able to soak up those skill shots, able to mitigate a lot of that ability damage. Kind of surprised that we're seeing a tank pick this early. It makes it a little bit easier to play around that and counter pick it. And Sylvanas also picked up by Suicide Squad.
Okay. Sylvanas is still very good at especially taking advantage of the split. This map is one of the largest maps on the rotation, and her single lane push is second to none. I mean, maybe Zul might be comparable, but her ability to turn off those towers makes it so that she can get very close to them, and yeah, she's a force not to be left alone in a single lane.
And this can help Suicide Squad if they feel like they're ever going to be in a situation where they're behind. If they're not capping those tributes and they're not getting those objectives, Sylvanas can still provide you with essentially the benefit of a curse in a single lane. So, if things get a little dicey and they really need to push a lane and get some XP, they've got that in their pocket. And we see the Green Bros... Ray God and his disciple Green Jesus descend from Legion temporarily to join us here on HOTS. We see Thrall and Rhaegar picked up by Mighty Cucks. This is like the who's who of bread and butter meta with Li Ming, Rhaegar, and Thrall. If you asked for like the B+ or the A- characters in like melee assassin, ranged damage dealer, and healer, you'd get these three. They're solid and they fit in damn near every lineup.
Yeah, this gives them the ability to basically to swivel as necessary after these ban phases.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next two are going to be picked by Suicide Squad after this particular ban, and they need a response. They need to be able to respond. So
Well,
this is
Suicide Squad's still short a healer, so we might see a heal ban on Mighty Cucks. They're also short a lot of burst damage or just straight up heavy damage. Sylvanas, solid damage, over time, and we see Brightwing banned by Mighty Cucks. I like this.
so
Global presence healer denied for Suicide Squad.
so all of the global presence has been denied, right?
I mean, except for heroes like
Well, Abathur,
Lost
but-
Vikings and Abathur. Right? We might see. Hey, a last pick Lost Vikings could be a thing here with Suicide Squad, but pairing
You
them
think?
with Sylvanas, I think if you pair him with Sylvanas, you don't have enough damage.
Yeah.
I think you're really short on damage. If you're gonna play Lost Vikings, you really need sort of a ganky composition. Surrounding the Lost Vikings player. We see Karazim picked up.
Karazim. Okay.
So potentially another frontliner.
Maybe a dive comp. This is looking like a dive
This
comp
could
to
be
me.
this could be a gray main right behind Karazim here.
I mean,
Or another. Go ahead.
yeah. Nubarak has the dive. I mean, he a lot of people save it for the disengage, but using it aggressively can be very dangerous in this particular situation, especially if you're.
Rhaegar has very poor means of healing himself. He cannot cleanse himself. He cannot ancestral heal himself. And we see Jaina picked up by Suicide Squad. So there's that burst damage I was talking about to complement the consistent sustained damage of Sylvanas. And I would love to see, just as a capstone for Suicide Squad, a bruiser like Sonya or another capable frontliner to pair with the Nubarak. Let's see how Mighty Cucks, as you said, pivots to address this. They're still short a tank and potentially a damage dealer, be it another range damage dealer or another frontliner.
All right, Muradin as a tank is very, very classic for this, especially if you're going to be defending against a Karazim. Muradin now has, right? He has the.
I don't think we're quite there yet.
Oh, he doesn't have it built
Close.
in yet.
I don't think we're there yet, buddy. I think that's next. That's next patch.
Oh, I'm getting my PTR patches mixed up here.
It's really hard not to have been playing too much.
Oh.
But with Reverberation, Muradin can limit the auto attacks of Karazim and
That
help
affects his
stifle
healing.
some of his healing. Yeah, stifle some of his healing. And we'll have to see. I mean, I would like to see maybe some auto attack damage to help bring down the Nubarak. Somebody with a giant killer or giant killer variant to help bring down a Nubarak. Thrall does have that as well at 13, so that could be their answer to him. But let's see what Mighty Cucks goes with.
I mean, it's looking like a very meta draft so
They
far.
could go with Lost Vikings right here.
Oh, geez, yeah.
They have composition that could actually support that.
Yeah, they actually do. I mean, they're looking for a specialist at this point, or somebody maybe to just take down, like, to do the PVE. So maybe Lunara, best PVE.
They've got solid wave clear.
Okay.
They go with Tychus, who is that giant killer variant who does have that percentage based damage to help bring down a Nubarak. I like Tychus here. I think this is a good pick.
Absolutely.
So Suicide Squad with the last pick here.
Yeah, what are they planning? I mean, this is potential for.
I think you cannot. I think the problem right now is if you go with a second warrior that's feeding the Tychus, and Thrall could theoretically take a giant killer as well.
They banned DTC, so they don't want that.
I feel like
Tyrael?
I feel like they're with Karazim and a Nubarak on the front lines, they might feel like they're okay. I'd like to see a little more sustained damage.
Oh.
They go with Tyrael. Good call. So
I mean, I'm looking at the dive comp, and I'm like, well, what supports the dive comp best?
well, you're
Tyrael.
not wrong, son. You got it.
So,
All right. So we've got
All
the double warrior. We talked about this double warrior meta that's sort of come into the North American region, and we're gonna see it in play with Suicide Squad here, with Tyrael and Nubarak leading the way for Jaina, Sylvanas, and Karazim.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm excited.
They've got ferocious wave clear on this team. Jaina can basically just drop a W and leave the lane, and it's cleared. The wave clear on Mighty Cucks is also quite good with Tychus, Li-Ming, and Thrall. Rhaegar's also got a very good wave clear for a healer. Muradin's basically the only person on their team that doesn't have it. I really like this. I as stated in the chat here, drafted better than the Vietnam War. Um, so here we go. Everyone's hitting the ready button.
Yep.
They are getting this squared away here. So initial thoughts on this draft. Do you think there's a clear-cut winner or loser for this draft, or do we feel pretty even?
Oh my god, I'm okay. So this is like old meta versus new meta. Like old meta is Muradin, Rhaegar, Thrall. I mean, old meaning
Those,
like
I mean, those, like I said, they're bread and butter. They're like
yeah,
the B plus students in every category.
yeah. And then the Tyrael Anub'arak, the dual tank meta there with the Kerzim to support a dive. Man, that is one heck. I mean, they are aiming for that objective here. So
Yeah, and the question is, who's the dive target? Is it Rhaegar or is it one of the squishier characters like Tychus or Li Ming? I mean, are those two, slippery enough to avoid a consistent dive, or do you think you target the healer out in this situation? I feel like you target the healer out.
yeah, Rhaegar has. I mean, he can't ancestral himself. He can't cleanse himself. So yeah, I mean, I think you dive. You support with Tyrael's sanctification and you basically use Jaina to
Lock that.
zone
I mean,
and kill.
Yeah, if Anub'arak gets the initial dive in and stun, that's basically a free follow-up Ring of Frost for Jaina. And once Rhaegar's locked in, he's basically dead. So we'll have to see how these teams play off each other. And here we go. Time to do some introductions. On the left-hand side here, in the blue trunks, representing Team the Mighty Cucks, we got Muradin, played by Angus the Beefy. We got Tychus played by Lebo. We got Li Ming played by Vultures. Oh,
Yep, I accidentally paused.
Yep, no, it's all right. We got somebody. Yep, somebody dropped. We got Thrall played by Soon, and we got Rhaegar played by True Love. And we'll hold off here for 1 second while things get going here. And it looks like Kerzim has ascended to a new plane of existence. And that plane is unfortunately not on the internet, so that's not working out for us.
Yeah, a hero has left the. No, what was it? Nephilim has joined.
Yeah,
Has left.
a Nephilim has left the game. Your struggles become easier, or whatever.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long since we played Diablo. Oh.
It has. Oh man. They just started a new season up. We'll have to give that a shot.
Yeah, we should.
See what's going on there. But we've got so far just he's still in comms, they say. So 323. Raise your conspiracy kappas. And
Wow.
and yeah, let's try out this give a round of applause for our Charism player Nightmare. So let's all hit that star button for Nightmare Hots. But let's see here. This chair league, homie.
Hashtag casual.
Yeah, I mean, no bio breaks allowed.
Oh
We
my
run a
gosh.
tight ship here. Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate the the banter here. This is
Mhm.
fantastic. Okay, so I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't see an Ariel. Are you surprised?
Not with the style of composition that they're going with here.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Karazin makes sense supporting Anub'arak and Tyrael. Both have shields that are able to help with self-sustain. So that consistent healing and that small burst heal from Karazim is going to pay further dividends for the two frontliners. So they don't have to worry about big, gross heals for the frontliners. They're going to be sustaining themselves. Let's see here. We've got a ready from the red team. We got a ready from the blue team. Here we go. We're about to start things off again. And let's try this again here. In the red trunks on the right-hand side, playing for Team Suicide Squad, we've got Dark Angel on Sylvanas, Tatsuya on the Jaina, Nightmare on Karazim, Autotone on Anub'arak, and Eclipse on the Tyrael.
Oh, I have to remember my buttons here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so It looks like a 4-1 split at the bottom here. That's an interesting one.
Well, I mean, they're going to try and get value with Sylvanas early here and burn that bottom tower as quickly as they can. However, Mighty Cucks kind of wisens up to it and gets huge damage in on Eclipse here. He's able to get out in time, but is tapping very early, just 30 seconds into the game here.
So they didn't really do much damage on this bottom tower, so that was not much of a of an engagement there. But it looks like Sylvanas is going to set up in mid, and they're just trying to get the lane assignments done here.
I mean, this is this matchup. The lane assignments are an often overlooked thing in sort of lower level games or amateur level games. You sort of put people in lanes and you say, all right, we're good. Let's just leave everybody there, without really calling into a question, is this a good lane assignment? Should this character be up against this hero? And we've got Jaina and Thrall in top lane, which, is slightly skewed against Jaina. She has no means of really self-supporting her HP bar. Her wave clear is superior to Thrall's, though, so that's going to be a bit of a dance to see who clears waves quicker and who does the damage more to each hero. Angus the Beefy taking a lot of heat in the middle here. Does manage to jump out in time, though, so little back and forth here with Dark Angel shutting the towers down in mid, getting lots of damage in, and here's that Sylvanas play that Suicide Squad was looking for. Taking a tower early here, securing almost a half an XP bar of lead, pushing the way forward to level 4.
And the rotation comes in from bottom to sort of disengage them. That was great timing in terms of Suicide Squad's feel for that. Rather than taking both towers, just taking the one. It looks like bottom lane has one of the towers also pretty far down. And
take a look at these talents here. So yeah, Tychus and Li Ming taking defensive talents at level 1 with Shrug It Off and Force Armor. They are anticipating this dive. They are anticipating it. And we're seeing in the rhythm now picked up by Tychus, looking to increase that minigun duration. And, solid standard stuff from both the Anubarak and the Jaina. Jaina going for a Q build, it looks like, and the Monk going for the just sort of standard Transcendence healing build.
Yep. Just a lot of poke going on right now. I'm waiting for the first objective spawn, and there it is.
There it is. Suicide Squad with a bit of an edge in XP, but it looks like both teams are going to be on an even talent tier for this fight. Neither team really making it to 7 yet, and here they go. Nubrak is remaining at top, it looks like, so this could get one-sided quickly. Mighty Cucks taking their place on the objective here with Suicide Squad trying to interdict. Eclipse does manage to get the interrupt, and Dark Angel is forced to retreat with barely any hit points. First tribute does go to Mighty Cucks, but like I said, Anubrak staying top did manage to absorb a fair amount of XP. So we're seeing about almost a level lead for Suicide Squad here. They're going to have level 7 for the next objective.
Yep, and so Anubrak sees the rotation going up, and he's going to just try to move back with Jaina taking back the lane assignment at top here. Interestingly enough, they did pick up the Siege Giants, but they were to no effect since they were instantly cleared at top.
Yep, Nubrak stayed in place and was able to head those off, so they did not get the value that Mighty Cucks was looking to get. Second tribute is popping now, and Mighty Cucks just inches away from level 7, which has already been attained by Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they're gonna get 7s before they
just get it in time here with 2 seconds remaining on the timer. Eclipse caught in the open, does manage to escape, but he is really injured, and it looks like it's going to be another tribute for Mighty Cucks. The Eclipse goes down, and that's the first blood of the game. Tyrael exploding, but with no further follow-up from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that was actually a bit of a mistiming in terms of Suicide Squad trying to rotate down to, to poke, and Tyrael was there, but the rest of the team wasn't, and Tyrael died for that. Now, this is a very scary situation right here. I don't know if Suicide Squad's sniffing this out. I mean, well, there it is. There's a sniff out, but there's nothing they can do at this point. They got that kill, and they said, you know what, we're gonna get a boss off that.
So Suicide Squad with the XP lead for now, but Mighty Cucks with a slight edge in terms of map objectives and the and the mercenary camps. They've
Yeah, and
taken
this-
a couple more camps, and this is 3 for 3 right here.
Yeah, this is them guaranteeing a curse. This is curse point, and 4 of the 5 members of Suicide Squad are down here, and Jaina cannot solo that curse, that
Nope.
objective point.
Nope.
So
She's just going to defend that top lane, and that appears to be the collapse point for Mighty Cucks. They're putting a lot of pressure in on the top lane, looking to find Jaina. Muradin missing the Stormbolt by a hair's breadth, and Jaina's going to skedaddle out of there as the rest of Suicide Squad rotates around to help cover these objectives.
wow, what a rotation to go catch Jaina there. Jaina would stayed a little bit too long, and the rest of the team just rotated up to backdoor that particular fort. With the fort disabled during this phase, they just dived with no regard to the fort, and they are going to pick up the other boss here in response. They are just getting really greedy here, and it may pay off in this particular instance. The rest of the Suicide Squad is rotating into...
Level 10s have been attained by Mighty Cucks, not for Suicide Squad yet, so they have very difficult chances of contesting this. They catch level 10, a huge rumble on the boss. It is picked up by Mighty Cucks as Suicide Squad is decimated. 2 down, 3rd potentially coming soon. Eclipse is brought down, and it is a full team wipe from Suicide Squad, with Mighty Cucks losing just 2 for 5.
Wow. Oh, what an engagement there. The few seconds, that 1-2 seconds earlier with the 10s on Suicide Squad, and this may have been an entirely different engagement.
Almost every ultimate was expended in that fight. The only thing which was not popped, it looks like, was Cocoon. I have to check again to see if Wave of Force was used. That cooldown was so quick. It could have been used at the outset and never come back. But
it would have reset. During that fight, there were so many deaths.
We're seeing huge pressure on all fronts from the Mighty Cucks. They have 2 forts down. They're knocking on the door of keeps in 2 lanes. And Suicide Squad has got to, they've got to find a means of getting back in this fight here. They're on even talent tiers. They're staying in it in the XP race fairly cleanly. But right now, they've got to find a way to push those lanes out. Grab some camps, deny them from Mighty Cucks, and that looks to be what they're doing. We're seeing Autotone and Nightmare move to the near side siege camp, but Mighty Cucks getting very aggressive. They find Eclipse sort of pinched off on his own, and the danger pings go off. Eclipse very exposed, does manage to use Eldraine to get out of that location, and there goes the siege camp taken by Mighty Cucks.
Yeah, with Jaina up in the top lane, the Suicide Squad is smart not to engage this. That was very scary, and Jaina's still in the top lane there. They're sort of split here, and they know they can't take an engagement, so
she was spooked there. She was worried about a rotation coming north. She tosses a Frostbolt in to see if anybody's at this camp on their side, and here we go. We got some Chinese party bush meta. Muradin gets whacked by the party bush, eats a great ancestral heal from True Love, and this fight is on. The Ring of Frost goes off, but we got huge damage heaped on Suicide Squad. They have got to find a ways out of this. Great Divine Palm on Autotone to keep him up as Muradin pops Avatar and goes ham on the backline of Suicide Squad. Members falling left and right. And it looks like we are just going to go down the Anubarak as Suicide Squad sort of licks their wounds and pushes this mercenary camp back. That could have gone either way. That
Absolutely.
was really close.
That was very close.
Money ancestral timing, keeping Muradin up, giving him time to pop Avatar. Absolutely wonderful Divine Palm from the Charism player, from Nightmare, to keep Anubarak up. Unfortunately, Anubarak was subsequently focused down, and once again, almost every single ultimate used in that engagement.
Yep. That was really scary, and it was smart of them to disengage immediately there, because they did have 13s, and that 13, the power spike's not that high on 13, but it's there.
It's definitely there. We're seeing the Earth Shield from Rhaegar, and we're seeing Giant Killer with follow through.
Giant Killer would have been a huge. Was a huge factor there, and I imagine that probably was a smart decision for Suicide Squad to turn around during that phase. Now,
Definitely so.
they're posturing for a boss here. They're trying to see if. Oh,
Oh, but
that is unfortunate
the,
positioning.
the luck of the draw brings the tribute down south, and Eclipse is going right into the party bush.
Oh my gosh.
Eclipse is hit, chunked for 50% of his HP. Pop Sanctification to survive. His team survives, and a Ring of Frost catches Muradin as Suicide Squad is a fight. It's a fighting retreat right now with Jaina going down, Anubrak going down, and both teams just basically licking their wounds after that one. Mighty Cucks decisively winning that team fight, though. They're going to turn around. They're probably going to pick this boss up, and Suicide Squad. They're just getting pushed around right now. The whole map is blue. There's one camp that Mighty Cucks 2 now that Mighty Cucks have not capped. We're seeing Eclipse go north to clear out the northern minion wave, push that up a little further, and potentially to just keep an eye on the boss. It's up in 5 seconds.
So, seeing that they got the other boss, they're obviously heading to that top boss. I mean, it's no surprise there. So they're going to pick up these Siege Giants to try to defend against this. Oh my gosh, look at the unfortunate timing here.
I mean, for Suicide Squad, yes. For Mighty Cucks, this couldn't have gone better. They're going to pick this boss up, and they are going to threaten a curse immediately following this boss. And this boss is going to get a keep. This is a keep right here.
Yeah. So, I was going to say, during that last fight, the last, 5-on-5, the Ancestral actually went down on Tyrael, and Tyrael popped Sanctification, so the Ancestral, or not the Ancestral, the
Palm.
Palm was actually wasted on that particular fight, and had that Palm not been used, it would have been a different fight, I think. But
both teams posturing at the north side keep for Suicide Squad. Mighty Cucks just popping level 16 right now. They got everything in their favor. We're seeing Given the Axe by Muradin, sort of the new age Muradin, level 16 here. And here we go. In goes Muradin with the Avatar, taking a whack at anybody that they can. And heavy damage going in on Nubrak. There's that giant killer damage from Thrall. The Sanctification is too late to save the team. Sundering goes out. Goodbye, Jaina. Goodbye, Sylvanas. And that is it. Palm on Tyrael, but the GGs are called out. The boss got distracted by a tower, but that's not going to be enough. The boss now targeting the core, and that is GG. Mighty Cucks winning this one in convincing fashion with their first win of the season here over Suicide Squad.
Yep. Good games all around. The old meta versus the new meta. Old meta still wins. At least in this particular instance, I was going to ask you midway through that game there, what you think they could have done to perhaps, perhaps come back, but maybe that's.
I mean, they were close. I mean, they were within talent tier frequently. So, I mean, there were situations where, they could have taken team fights and caught the win there. I think the rotations from Suicide Squad were just a little bit slower than they needed them to be. There were a lot of situations where it was one or two heroes sort of caught off on the side, and those heroes were caught out, chunked for a bit, and had to retreat. That gave Mighty Cucks opportunity to gain map presence, to push to certain camps. Just general map awareness as well. Like the enemy team disappearing for, 10, 15 seconds and not being on the map at all in an early phase of the game. I mean, there's only two places on that map where they might be. It's either the south side boss or the north side boss.
Yeah.
And, when those were finally scouted out by Anubrak and other players, what you should do in that situation is just immediately race your boss. I feel like if you scout out a boss and you realize that, okay, we're in a bad situation, they're taking boss right now, you get to whatever boss has not been taken yet and you race that thing. You get it off the field so that the opposing team can't do what was done in this game, where you get one boss, and while the enemy team is dealing with it, you just sort of mosey on over to the other one and take that one too. Because if it gets a fort, that's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. It's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. If you have two going though, and suddenly you can't contest tributes, you can't contest. It's pushing down towards keeps. The tribute timing is bad. If you're dealing with two at once, you're in a world of hurt. If you're dealing with just one and you lose a fort, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I feel like rotations to respect and anticipate the boss movements probably would have been better. Just that fight right on the cusp of level 10. I mean, that was just
that was
yeah,
so
that was
risky.
just
I
it
mean,
was very risky, and the moment that Anubarak went in, Anubarak got blasted by Li Ming and Tychus, and the palm did go off, but then it just died. It just basically evaporated again. Um,
do you think he should have taken the other alt?
the locust swarm?
Yeah, yeah, the one for extra health. Is that?
I don't know. That's actually a fairly good question. I mean, they were all up in the face of Mighty Cucks consistently. Well, I'd have to look at that team fight again. I have to call into question whether Tyrael got a sanctification off in a reasonable spot in that first team fight at level 10, because I feel like that was sort of where it kind of unraveled.
Oh, I know exactly where that. Yes, that the sanctification was a little bit to the lower left, and it missed the entire team. Frankly, yeah, and that was a big deal. I mean, I think a little bit more setup would have been nice, but in that pull the trigger situation, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to figure that out, obviously. But I think fighting for that boss may have been a little bit of a mistake. I mean, let them get it.
Your team is wiped. It was a 5-man wipe there. Now they have it's level 11 and a half versus barely reaching level 10. There's a boss coming. Yeah, that was a tough call to make. And like I said, that's one of those situations where I feel like you recognize that they're getting the boss. Like I think Anubarak scouted out the bottom side boss early on that one. I think your team just bolts for the north side boss. You do a DPS race. You try and bring that down as quick as you can. Defend from it if necessary, and you just try your best to prevent them from doing that rotation, because that is going to be the obvious rotation. Get one boss, rotate to the other. So I think that's one spot where I can see sort of the game slipping from Suicide Squad's clutches, and I feel like they just did not rotate in their entirety effectively enough in the early game to get those early tributes, and that's what gave Mighty Cucks that edge. The funny thing was, Suicide Squad was leading on XP for the vast majority of the early game, and it wasn't until maybe the second tribute that things started sort of getting out of hand for them, and the XP swing to Mighty Cucks.
Well, one other unfortunate thing was the two tributes that actually spawned directly next to the bosses, where they were setting up in the.
I'm gonna have to look at that again, because there is a predictable pattern. It's very basic with the tributes where tributes will not spawn more than twice in any north-south location. Yeah. So if the pattern of tributes, if the first tribute's on the bottom half of the map and the second tribute's on the bottom half of the map, third one is guaranteed at the top. So I'd have to look at how that pattern played out over the course of the game, because that might have been calculated. That might have actually been predicted by the Mighty Cucks.
Well, the left and right side,
at least.
The left and right side is random. And it just so happened that it was the boss side for both tribute spawns. So and it led right into a cursed tribute. The
dice, the cards fell. I mean, if you got any gamblers on Mighty Cucks, go to Vegas, put it all down. The gods seem to be with you right now.
Yeah. Oh, and Dark Angel did say in the chat that he was hoping for a boss steal with or a boss guarantee with Holy Ground. That's a risky strategy. I mean, they did have a risky comp. I mean, the entire comp was focusing on dive with the cocoon. You're trying to focus down one person or take a person out of the team fight. Maybe try to count on the other team to be grouped up, to be, with silencing arrow, with, have the other team, you were counting on your positioning to be right. And it was very difficult to.
Yeah, Mighty Cucks had their positioning down, and
Yeah.
the Muradin. We have to talk about Angus the Beefy.
Oh, yeah.
The Muradin was just a force to be reckoned with. Was constantly in the back line of Suicide Squad, forcing the tanks back, making things a nightmare for the damage dealers of Suicide Squad. They could not get forward in time to do the damage they really wanted to do to the back line of Mighty Cucks. So yeah, I mean, it was solid play from quite a few. I think I saw Angus the Beefy getting a number of stars at the end of the match there. So I think that was well earned, I believe. Playing sort of the new age Muradin with the Iron Forged momentum and the give him the axe at 16. I do like trying that out. I like the heavy impact myself, but I've been trying to give him the axe lately, and that's super fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
any last takeaways? Anything we're stealing for our games in the future?
I think Karazim needs a little work in terms of current meta. He's good, but like Palm's just a little unreliable. It's too easy to target or to not target the person with Palm. I mean, it's a pretty obvious effect, basically, and you usually have to do it far enough in advance that the team has a chance to counterplay that. Whereas like Rhaegar's Ancestral, you just have to hit the Ancestral before they die. So
it was good. It was good. And if there was something I had to take away on that one, I mean, excuse me. I don't know if I would have gone with the second tank after the Tychus pickup. I think I might have gone for Greymane or another sort of angry diver that would have helped bring the damage instead of the crowd control. Because it was Suicide Squad's last pick. They had the last individual hero that they picked up. And while I like the two tanks, the Nubrak and Tyrael, I think there was just too much percentage-based damage on the part of Mighty Cucks. They had Tychus and they had Thrall taking Giant Killer.
Yeah, the Giant Killer there in conjunction with the Tychus. I mean, that was just a lot of damage overall. 26 and 33k shown on the hero damage meters. Just a lot of damage. Thrall topped the damage meters.
He's scary, man.
Yeah. So
So thank you all for joining us. As we mentioned earlier in the cast, go to chairleague.com, go to the watch screen and find this matchup, and you can find these two teams, follow them. You'll get those notifications when they're playing, get a chance to watch this crew in action again, and feel free to drop by our Twitch page. It's twitch.tv/synthparadox. It's my friend Synth's channel, and we'll be doing this again potentially tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll be casting Resting Butcherface versus I forget. Bob Ross Fight Club. Okay.
Ooh boy.
Yeah,
be a fun one.
Your Pro League, Pro Division teams. And yeah, don't forget to follow me if you enjoyed the cast. Thank you. I think Cavalier Guest actually hosted us midway through here, so thank you everyone, and have a good night.
Cheers.